Salve. So, it seems that within countries throughout the West, either in the form of modestly ascendant right-wing parties in Western Europe, or the right-wing governments already in place in Eastern and Central Europe, we are seeing a resurgence of nationalism and nationalist policies. That is, policies aimed at protecting and advocating for political and economic decisions to be made by national governments as opposed to international bodies, and states acting in the general interest of a people group with a shared ethnicity, language, and/or culture. We can see this especially in nations like Poland and Hungary, who have continuously rejected EU migrant and refugee quotas, and have taken active measures to stem immigration. Now, I'm not saying that nationalism is going to completely retake the West anytime soon, but the resurgence is not insignificant, and as evidence, I posit the large number of articles and videos progressive outlets are pumping out recently in what honestly seems like a panicked attempt to quell an ideology that they not only thought was a relic of the dreaded pre-1945 world, but, at least when it comes to Western countries, is directly anti-progressive and anti-globalist. And it seems that the progressives have produced this perfect pile of crap for us to dissect. Let's enjoy it, shall we?
When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice.
Patriotism and nationalism, two different concepts, are increasingly being used to mean the same thing. But they don't, and confusing them can be dangerous.
Because it might upset your narrative that Westerners have no individual national cultures?
So what's the difference? Well, patriotism is defined as love of and devotion to one's country and support for its interests.
Countries based upon what exactly? Why are France and Germany different countries?
Well, nationalism is extreme patriotic feelings where one believes in the superiority of their own country over others.
Or it can mean what it actually means historically, that the state and borders should be centered around a specific nationality comprised of individuals with a common ethnicity, language, or culture. And I hear your definition a lot though. Does anyone actually believe this? What does belief in your nation's superiority actually mean? I mean, objectively, the United States in multiple ways is superior to every other country on Earth.
An example of healthy patriotism would be supporting your country's national teams in international tournaments.
Bread and circuses.
Then there's this. Earlier this month, over 60,000 Poles came together to celebrate their country's Independence Day.
How dare they?
However, the march was marred with banners and slogans, celebrating nationalism and white supremacy.
Wait, what's the difference? I thought you said that nationalism was supremacy. You know, these types of marches don't usually happen without a reason. Can you think of one?
Money! Money! Money!
The Polish government's response to the march was conflicted.
Gee, I wonder why.
The president was quick to denounce the march.
Nie ma w naszym kraju miejsca ani zgody na ksenofobię, nie ma w naszym kraju miejsca na chorobliwy nacjonalizm, nie ma w naszym kraju miejsca na antysemityzm.
You know, I wonder if there just might be a problem with anti-Semitism within the Islamic community.
While the Ministry of Foreign Affairs released a statement saying that the march was attended by, quote, people who wanted to peacefully manifest their patriotic feelings.
So nationalists, and that means bad.
And the Interior Minister called the Crimson Fog March in Warsaw, quote, a beautiful sight.
It was.
The day ended with 45 arrests, all of them counter-protesters, and not one of them was seen carrying a white supremacist symbol or heard chanting Sing Hail.
Because that's the only behavior a protester can display that would get them arrested, right? Not like Antifa or left-wing protesters ever demonstrate violence, right? Also, there's probably a good reason the nationalists weren't shouting it either. The Poles don't exactly have a love for Nazi Germany.
In a country where Nazis carried out some of the Holocaust's worst atrocities, leading one to wonder, just how normalized is this patriotic racism becoming?
I thought we were talking about nationalism. What the hell is patriotic racism supposed to be?
In the US, research suggests that support for President Trump was driven largely by racial resentment.
Research.
Which his campaign capitalized on under the guise of patriotism. Hate crimes have risen over 5% since Trump's election, with more than half of them motivated by race.
Yes, but which race are we talking about? Because this just might happen to be a hate crime.
Although we can't say he's the cause,
we'll say he's the cause.
There does appear to be a correlation.
Called it. And I know anyone will know from their first day in a statistics class, correlation no equal causation.
Most recently, when football players started kneeling during the national anthem for social justice.
Sure it was, and it did not piss off the entirety of Middle America.
President Trump quickly spun the issue to be an insult to veterans and soldiers who fight for the country.
Oh look, more damned lies.
And tweeted this: "Courageous patriots have fought and died for our great American flag. We must honor and respect it." The United States is not alone in disguising racism and ultranationalism as patriotic.
What racism? You have provided absolutely no examples of racism in this entire video.
Marine Le Pen, the leader of the French National Front,
who, by the way, in this video clip is standing in front of the German flag,
which evolved from a neo-fascist anti-Semitic political party,
evolved in that it changed,
is also guilty of using the same language.
Guilty! Kill her now!
Le patriotisme n'est pas une politique du passé, c'est une politique du futur.
Some European politicians even say that the West is going through a patriotic spring. But is that just another term for nationalism and racism?
No. Sorry guys, I thought this video would at least try to actually, talk about nationalism, but alas, instead it's more Nazi Nazi Trump Trump. But at least by the tone of the video, you can tell that the progressives are getting scared. Hopefully I'll have a chance to talk about nationalism more in depth in the future, but until then, Diabana.
Wir wollen unseren alten Kaiser Wilhelm wieder. Wir wollen unseren alten Kaiser Wilhelm wieder. Aber den mit dem Bart, mit dem langen Bart. Aber den mit dem Bart, mit dem langen Bart. So schwärmten unsere Eltern von der guten alten Zeit. Sie liegt so fern und weit, die alte Kaiserzeit. Doch war sie wirklich besser, diese gute alte Zeit, als einst der Opa, die Oma hat wohl gefeit. Ja, mit Jagdgesang und mit Hörnerklang, rings um Fair Berlin, durch die Wälder ziehen. Ja, mit Jagdgesang und mit Hörnerklang, ritt die Oma mit dem Opa. Doch sie hielten an und küssten sich, sonst wären wir heute